Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deep Blue Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deep Blue Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 359. Today is Saturday, March 6th, 2021, and I'm glad you could join me today. It is blustery. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear the house creak and the wind whistle, but it's a little intense for the daytime. Like, I live on a hill. It is the second highest hill in San Francisco, and it is a windy place up here in the clouds. But whatever. So that'll be entertaining. It's like super duper mega clear right now too. So I have my second coffee of the day. I actually have a finished knitting project. It's not what you think. And it really, or would it be? Definitely a week where I got a lot of knitting enjoyment out of that silly yarn, but as you do. And then I need to minimize my browser tab. Oh my goodness, is that distracting? So last night during whatever the makers meetup that I participate on Friday nights, the subject came up about, or whatever, we started talking about music, and this led to me sharing with the group the North Dallas, or whatever, the North Texas public music radio station. And so I was listening to it, whatever, this morning and early afternoon as I was sort of going through and doing some of my computer chores. And then I paused the music to start recording, but there were it was flashing on who they were playing, so it had gone from whatever was playing, a band I haven't heard of before, to Green Day, and it was like, yeah, no, I don't need that distraction. But that has been a notable thing that has changed. So it would be the case where when I was in Dallas, that was the radio station that was playing in the lab, and super duper enjoyable, covers everything from the Beatles to the Beatles to now, with sort of a chill indie focus to it. And if they're playing older bands, that tends to not just be their most popular tracks, but some of the deeper cuts as well. And the DJs actually select their playlists. So this isn't like a iHeartMedia sort of radio station. This is like old school, they did this back in the day. So I find it to be super duper enjoyable. My favorite day is Halloween because they play spooky songs all day. So I've noticed that I haven't been listening to as much music lately. So I decided to rectify that by listening to music while I was doing other stuff. So we'll see how everything turns out. But I think it's probably good for a mood. Would it be? I would say, would it be when it comes to what you're trying to do or not? That was about the right thing. If I'm grinding on a knitting project or a spinning project, I tend to also like to have the visual component as well. So it'd be the case where I have been binging a lot of TV. I'm in the middle of whatever, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, which they're getting a little bit better about actually murdering people. You can tell that it's a show for children because the stakes should be life and death, and they aren't. What would it be? And then I am watching Teen Wolf on Amazon Prime, which is so soapy, but strangely very pleasurable. I don't even think I can properly explain. But what would it be? I do have a fascination with werewolves, so if you do not have a fascination with werewolves, it's probably not your jam. But yeah, no, that's what I'm doing right now. So it'd be the case where it, I don't know, I'm in the second half of the 5th season at this point, and there's like 6 total, so I'm like almost done. Like I might finish this weekend. And now my Amazon profile actually, or would it be the case where they've added watch profiles to that, so it can be the case like I am Molly and this is what I'm watching, so that I don't keep getting my husband's mindless action. In some ways, it's almost like he's in a race to the bottom of how low of an IMDb rating can something be and still have it be tolerable. So I'm glad I'm not getting his suggestions anymore. But there would it be. I have sort of stopped watching some stuff on Amazon Prime, but would it be? I know, I guess we finished watching the Umbrella Academy, so now it's like, what in the world's going on? What is this next season going to entail? But oh, not too crazy. So, hot coffee, shows, music, distractions. I think we're good. So, I guess I'll start with the project you guys have seen before, and all sorts of interesting things going on here. But this is my crayon etching sweater, which is a pattern by Noriko Aida. It is a free pattern. It is a raglan construction linen sweater. I'm bringing it close enough so you can see the linen-y goodness. I'm recording earlier than usual, so hopefully the light stays good the whole time. I made some modifications to it. I added a folded brim ribbed neckline, and I added really nice long ribbing to both sleeves. I did pull my waist yarn that was holding my sleeves, and I added some shaping to it. So this is the back, and this is the front. So there are some shaping lines on the front. I decided to go with 1/6 in on the front and 1/6 in on the back. And everything seems to be fitting really nicely. The sleeves might be a smidge tight, but this is superwash, so I'm assuming it'll grow a little bit there. And now I'm just working on the bottom ribbing. It was the case where it was like, should I keep going in the Linus Fish pattern or not? I tried it on. It was too like my jeans line at that point, so that I'm like, I'll add some bottom ribbing. The pattern has you just bind off and linen stitch. But obviously I've added ribbing all over the place on the sweater, so whatever. I didn't measure how much yarn I have left at this point. This was started off as a 98-gram ball. It was half a skein. I've stopped alternating now that I'm in the ribbing. I just, what would it be? The way I'm alternating is not beautiful. I really need to learn how to do helical knitting, because I think that would result in a much nicer product overall. And I mustn't have done the best job of steaming the kinks out of this yarn, but I don't think it's going to be too big deal. So at this point, I've probably used more yarn than the original sweater, and now it's just a matter of knitting ribbing until I'm satisfied. I probably have, yeah, I have like an 1.5 inches of ribbing so far. So we'll see how far I manage to rib. And then it'll be like a small amount of finishing work to, what would it be, tuck in an end or two, and just make sure my corners are nice and closed on this bad boy. I don't know, that's the, and closing the corners in whatever, like where you, like the two corners that you get in the underarm of the sleeve. So just making sure that those look nice, inside out or outside in. Inside out or right side out. Because the intention is to have like a completely reversible sweater. It shouldn't be too crazy. And then just to make sure the time passes nicely, I just have a beginning of row marker and half of row marker, or basically that underarm line going on. Just be like, oh, time's passing. Hit the marker. But that didn't end up getting a lot of love this week because I was much more focused on the hat, which is slightly further out of reach. So I was talking about this last time. And it is now done. So I think I showed the skeins, I wound the skeins. I ended up knitting this hat several times this week. Lots and lots of knitting enjoyment out of this bad boy. So I did a brioche hat. Go. I did not warn about podcasting. What would it be? So I started off with 120 stitches. That was ridiculous. I went to 96 stitches. That was still sort of ridiculous. I went to 96 stitches on smaller needles. Still ridiculous. And then I decided to go with 80 stitches on smaller needles. So I knit this on a US 3 with a light fingering yarn and a sport weight yarn held doubled. And then once I ran out of the sport weight one, I joined it on somewhere in here-ish. Actually, that end might be poking out somewhere. I'll need to properly hide it. Yeah, I have my little join fluff. Can we even see? Yeah, you can see it. Would it be? And I ended up, or whatever, so with 80 stitches, I ended up doing sort of the 4-corner decrease in brioche, which I think makes a pretty nice top of hat going on there. And all that this really needs in order to be properly finished is a ridiculous faux fur pom-pom. And I did end up opting to get 6 faux fur pom-poms for the price of 3 from Barrett Wilco. So I just ordered those today because it's like, I already finished the hat. So I do have an end, but I am reserving that for the time being to figure out the appropriate snap attachment. But then we'll go from there. So I have it cuffed right now because I do like a beanie, and the yarn is Western Sky Knits in Mixed BFL in the Night Pool colorway. So it has like a darker brown, a tan, a light blue, and a navy in it. Though the navy, you can't see quite as much in it. And so the yarn was about the same in here, and then sort of got out of whack after that point. But I sort of like it. Like the way it looks with it sort of changing the striping sequence as you go. That's pretty cool. And then I have 5 grams remaining, which is a mixture of this lighter blue and a tan. So I probably could have knit for a little bit longer, would it be? It was sort of the case where I was just sort of playing a guessing game as to how far I needed to go in order to make this hat. And then you can uncuff this bad boy, and it does have, it can have like a really nice slouch to it as well. So depending on your hat wearing preferences, would it be where you need to appropriately get the break in for the slouch. So I think that it will look appropriately ridiculous with the faux fur pom-pom. And the 80 stitches finally was the point where it wasn't like ridiculously big. Like it can stretch quite a lot here, but it was very strange to be like, well, I'm working with DK weight yarn, like I should be close to my cast on for like what I would do for a worsted weight hat, but never underestimate the stretch of brioche. So what's maybe had like a slight amount of doubt was just that there is like a little bit of prickle factor to this. And you know, like when a knitter feels a little prickle factor, that's like, okay, for a non-knitter, would they even really want to deal with this? So then I had my husband wear it around for a little while, and he's like, yeah, no, there was like a little bit, but then I stopped caring because it was warm. So I'm not entirely sure the why of that, if it's just that, would it be there's like a little bit of loft going on here. The initial plan for this yarn was matched chain ply socks, but when the yarn turned out wildly different weights between the two skeins, that was a sign that my plan needed to change. So not too crazy, so should be good. Pretty cute overall. I sort of like the fun shifting of colors that you end up getting with this. And it also looks pretty cute inside out as well. It does look like a little bit different inside out, which is cool as well. So different colors seem to pop depending. So a fun overall project, but definitely whatever, slightly irritating, if only because I kept changing my mind about what I wanted to do. But I will need to show you guys once the ridiculous pom-pom is installed, so hopefully that will arrive sometime next week and be ready to go for that. And then I can, what would it be? And from there it'll then end up being gifted to my friend. So, but what would it be? Interesting little project there. And fun to do like a hand spun gift knit, so I'll have to take photos. I might need to create a project page. Stuff needs to happen. And then I will be entering that as a fluff to stuff item. So not too crazy there. I don't know if it'll be the case where I decide to, I don't know if it will be the case where I then decide to wind more hand spun for more hand spun fun, or if I, or would it be, it just sort of depends on which way I end up wanting to break. So factors in my decision include whatever. So Jennifer Steingass is having a knit along for her patterns right now, and since I'm planning on knitting the hinterland, it may make sense to take advantage of that knit along. And that would also count as the fluffer stuff, because a sweater is definitely on the list of what would it be? Oh, thing or whatever. Probably a project of significant size for me. The other thing which could go on would be like a brioche shawl that has been knocking around in my mind. or like a brioche blanket, let's be honest. So I already have some, or I have some colors selected. I haven't quite figured out what the design would end up looking like exactly. Or if I'm gonna end up doing like some sort of syncopation with it, or I need to sort of sit down and look at the yardages and figure out what I can end up doing. But it's gonna be a monster, like 12 ounces. And 12 ounces of about like DK yarn. So I think that'll make a really nice project. Not so sure if I would end up, not so sure if I would end up what are the words that I'm trying to pull? I'm not too sure if it would end up being that just fell out of my brain. Or whether or not it would just be straight up brioche triangle, or if it would end up being or if I would decide to put some pattern into it. Unclear. Unclear at this juncture. So that's on my mind right now. And then also the question of whether or not I continue on my heavier weight sweater kick or not. We shall see. Not even sure if I'll ever cresting on anything. We'll see. I know I could finish my sweater, and that could be exciting. As you do. So what I have going on right now on the spinning front is still my 3-ply fractal spin. So this was done last week. I finished this, I think, this week. And so this is the 2nd ply. And then I have started on the 3rd ply. And so the 3rd ply is a very long gradient. So it started at yellow, sort of passed through some green, fairly short section of just pure blue. And now I'm getting into the part where the blue is transitioning to white, so you can see the white core in there. I'm pretty sure I rewound the ball of fiber on the podcast, so not too crazy there. So I'm pretty close. I just didn't end up doing a lot of spinning this week. Did a little last night. I got out of the bits of yellow section and called it good. Well, I also finished the hat last night, and that I think was whatever, the distraction that was preventing me from working on other things. So not too crazy there. What would it be? I guess there is something pretty nice about keeping up the cadence of the hand spun and knot sort of project. So it may be the case where I end up I don't know, maybe I'll have 2 hand spun projects at the same time. I'm definitely feeling the allure of the shawl design and the colorwork sweater. Though I probably should be a little bit more diligent with the colorwork sweater and like actually properly swatch and all of that fun stuff, which would then, since I'm getting a tub of water going. That means I'll block my Viajante and all of my unfinished games. So maybe I should finish this game before I start swatching. Okay, hold on. So we shall see. What would it be? I feel like I almost need a little bit, or I will impulsively decide upon one of these 4 options sometime soon. As you do. Man, I don't think, it seems weird. I've normally been able to put out 40-minute episodes, but apparently not this week. I've used up all of my vicarious content, I guess. What would it be? I talked with you guys last week about my next spinning plan, but I'm obviously not there yet. Oh man, I forgot to ask last night. Crap. Oh well. I can probably just pose the question, and or what would it be? The Friday night group has a group chat on Instagram and the direct messages, and so I can probably ask them questions there as well. I don't need to wait till the night in order to ask those questions, which is fine. Yeah. I'll figure something out. Do not, I don't anticipate any interruptions to the podcast recording schedule. I am planning on celebrating Pi Day with my Thursday night group, so I will need to figure out what round dish I will be bringing to our outdoor potluck. But I haven't participated in a meetup since September or October, so I feel like I'm due for that at this point. So it should be good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh. All you get is a surprise this week. So, with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.